Hello, my name is Hope Shockley, and this is your EHC-TV sports interview. Emory Henry Athletics just added men and women's lacrosse to the university. Here to talk about the transition and the progress that the men's head coach, Eric Ruppel. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I just wanted to start and ask about how you've coached at many places before. What made you want to come here and start something new?
I have started a Division II program before in the Midwest, and I loved it. It was a very difficult undertaking, and when Emory and Henry became available, I thought to myself, I learned a lot last time. I know what not to do, right. And I chose this school. Emory and Henry has got a lot of things that a lot of Division II schools in the nation don't necessarily have, and is growing at a very good rate, whereas a lot of schools are not. So I saw a very good diamond in the rough opportunity that I think we will start to see come to fruition in the coming years.
Could you expand a little bit on what we have that other schools may not have?
To be blunt, we have a $10.1 million facility that is lacrosse, soccer, and track specific. A lot of Division II schools share multiple sports on one singular field. That is a commonality at most of the American schools, minus the South Atlantic Conference that does seem to do sports a little bit different than the rest of the world. The campus is fairly large compared to most Division II schools, and just the array of programs we have, and the proximity to a larger city with the Tri-Cities area. For me, a fully functioning airport is huge.
Oh, yes.
And just a lot of little creature comforts that students traveling from 6, 7, 8 hours away to go to school may not have in other parts of the country. We do have here.
Right. So kind of going off that, when you're coming into something new, what is something that you as a coach and a team want when you start this season?
As a freshman-based team, we start to focus on some of the intangible goals, growth goals, psychological mindset goals, things that aren't necessarily going to show up on the scoreboard year one, but will definitely start to show up on the scoreboard year 2 and year 3. The South Atlantic Conference is statistically the best Division II lacrosse conference in America. As of this week, there are 6 of the 10 teams, 11 teams in the top 20. No all freshman team should have the level of scheduling that these guys do. So wins are going to come in time. But to keep them motivated, to keep progress moving forward, we focus on just some other things. We focus on ourselves, we focus on some growth mindset things, we focus on our own individual skills. So once 26 comes, 27 comes, we can showcase progress that you won't see in 2025, but you will see in 26 and 27.
So, as you said, that the team is composed of mainly freshmen. Can you talk about the recruiting that you did, obviously, to come in and start, but can you also talk about what it's going to look like in the future?
Well, I didn't do the recruiting to start. I am the second head coach for Emory and Henry men's lacrosse. They had a recruit year with a coach that did not make it to campus. My staff was at Quincy University at the time, and we got this job in October. So we were only able to bring in a couple mid-season. So we got in October, and we focused exclusively on the 25 class because we had what we had, which is not a disrespect to our current guys. We love our guys to death, and the fact that they went through that early adversity they showed up to campus with no coach and stayed and are grinding is just a testament to their own abilities as humans, let alone athletes. But what we focused on immediately was bringing in a 2025 class so that we could have some depth to the roster. If you watch our games, the last couple teams we've played have had 50 on the roster. We're shooting up 15 to 17 per game based on health. And so next year our goal is around that 30 to 35 mark, so these guys can see what they can do with a full roster.
And as a local Southwest Virginia, not every school, my high school did not have lacrosse. So how are you gonna try and get local as you can, or are you gonna try and just look for something else?
We drew kind of a bubble, a 4 to 5 hour bubble of spots that we wanted to hit heavily. Now the Tri-Cities does have lacrosse. Not every school does, but there's a few that do. Knoxville has lacrosse. The Roanoke-Salem area has lacrosse. Those have been very good for us. Right up the road in 81, Northern Virginia and Baltimore, Maryland are hotbeds of the sport, so we've been attacking there pretty lucratively. I've gone to my old stomping grounds. In our 2025 class, we have a few coming from Dallas, Texas, and the West Coast. But we started local and local-ish as 6 hours, and then we start to broaden our horizons with some guys along the way.
Okay. So do you, as like a coach and with your staff, have specific things you look for in an athlete when you're looking at that range?
There are a few things that we look for, but maybe not the total package. If we find that excellent, but we're looking for a little bit of either size or speed, or, to put it bluntly, aggression, a combination of those factors. Lacrosse is a sport where height doesn't necessarily matter, but how you use your body does. So we're looking for those things. Can they throw and catch at a good pace? Can they shoot hard? Are they good with their feet? Are they good with their stick? Are they aware of the field around them? Things like that. You don't have to be a total package to be a good lacrosse player, but you do have to have some of those attributes, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay. And as a new team, everything is being looked at. If you could just share one thing about the program to the people out there, what would you want to talk about?
That these guys have some grit to them. Again, the South Atlantic Conference is not kind in any way, shape, or form to new programs. This upcoming week, we will play Wingate, Leonard and Limestone back to back to back. They're all three in the top 10 in the country, but these guys just don't give up. And you can tell in most games that from an individual talent perspective, they are not outmatched. When we came into the spring season, we said, guys, we don't care if it's Emory Henry versus School B. We care that it's 16 to 17 of you versus 32, and that's what's going to really show. Your individual talent will be kind of overlapped by the fact that you're just on the field for all 60 minutes, and some of these kids are not. So the fact that these guys come in with that level of grit and intensity and go, we're on the field the whole time. And, the school we played last week, Newberry, is an example. They've got a very deep roster. Their freshmen didn't really hit the field until the third and fourth quarter, and we were fine. Even though we had already played 35 minutes, guys are tired, guys are exhausted because they just don't come off the field. They had a very good showing against every school's freshmen, and that's a positive that we look at with those guys and say, hey, you're doing fine. Maybe not against the 24, 25-year-old fifth years, but you're doing great against guys your own age.
So I do this thing called speed round.
Okay.
So you've passed the test first. What is the best concert you've ever been to?
Best concert I've ever been to. This is going to date myself. 2001 pop punk disaster tour, Blink-182, Jimmy Eat World, and Green Day. I think I was in 8th grade, maybe a freshman in high school, but they came to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and my mom let me go.
Wow. Okay. Can you do the worm?
No.
Okay. And do you have any useless talents?
My coaching staff would say that I know every useless fact known to man, because that would be my useless talent.
Could you just share one useless fact?
On a good day, I do know all 50 state capitals, but I'm not going to say them.
But
we have a game, a drill that we do that over the course of my entire career, who gets ball first is usually a state capital. And whoever gets it first gets the ball.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming, and good luck tomorrow at Mars Hill. This has been your EHC-TV Sports Interview. I'm Hope Shockley.